Hi, I'm Corn C, and today I'm playing Puzzle Galaxies, which, unsurprisingly, is a puzzle game. It's on Steam at the moment for 99 cents or 79p, but I've also seen it bundled, so I imagine it's out of various places cheaper. Okay, first of all, how to play. Okay, the idea of the game is to match together all the jewels in groups of 4. So I'm about to get a group of 4 here. 4, they disappear, and then you just continue doing that. Left click to join together these 2 pods, and then you click on the things you want to, on the jewels you want to move over, and then you just do that one by one. You move the jewels over till they form a complete set. They disappear. When you've done all of them, boom, you've completed the level. Now the game is timed. You'll see a timer appear up in the top left here, so I've got 40 seconds to get them all to match up. But basically the game is not very hard. You're not going to be, once you've got the basic idea down, you're not going to be overly stretched. Just join them together and on you go. Okay, so I've jumped forward about 20 missions, or maybe more, and you can see it's gotten a bit harder. There's now more of the pods, so there's more to try and join together. And there's also more types of jewel that you've got to join together. So, and there's also these enemy ships, and what they do is they really annoy you. They come around and they pick up the jewels and move them around. And when there's a gap, like down here in this corner here, when there's a gap in one of the pods, you can't actually put anything in there, so it'll greatly slow you down. But you've also got more time. I had 3 minutes to do this level. You can see I'm about 30 seconds in and going well. I mean, the basic idea is that just join them together, move them around, and I find the general tactic is just not to panic about the time at the start. Just find a few that match and then just start joining them together. And because as you finish them, they disappear, it actually gets easier and easier as you go along. Once you get a few of the pods disappeared, then it gets much easier. You don't have less for you to worry about, less for you to do, less for the aliens to pick up and move annoyingly. Yeah. So that's the basic idea, and I'll just finish it off and then I'll tell you my thoughts on the game. Actually, I better start paying a bit more attention to this game, because in talking I've slowed down and I might be in danger of running out of time. So just a few more to go. You can see as you start getting rid of more pods, it gets easier and easier. There, so that's basics done, and now I just need to wait. Now I just need to wait for the opportunity for these aliens to come along, drop off what they were doing, and I can finish it. Come on. Waiting. This is going to be something I'm going to actually mention in the actual review there. So, finished it. And then it tells you score, and then you move on to the next level. So, come up with the score, and the next level. And that's pretty much it. I've played it for about an hour now, so I suppose that's pretty good value for a 79 pence game, although I paid a great deal less than that, so it's even better deal. I mean, the mechanic is simple, it's easy to pick up, you can improve and you can get faster. It's mildly taxing, but it's not going to cause you any great concern. Yeah, you just sort of start going and plod through them, and you'll get there. The time limit is, I think, very generous. So there's not a huge chance that you'll run out of time. And you can see that in the last game I played and I talked and still no real problem. There's normally enough there that you can quickly knock out a few. And it's only these aliens that slow you down a little. But even then they don't slow you down that much. Okay. So, just about to do that one. Yeah, maybe it's a good idea to focus on the pods where the aliens are not, or are not anywhere near. Then you can knock a few out. Just too slow there. Okay, so what's my review of this game then? I think you. What am I doing? What's my review of this game? The pros of this game, the good things about this game, it's quite simple. It's it presents a little bit of a challenge, but it's not hard enough to cause you too many problems. So it's just a pleasant little game. Oh, I think I might be about to finish this one off. Yes, so now it's just a matter of waiting. Yeah, so pleasant little game, nice little idea. Yeah, done. I've often found myself wanting to go a little bit further. There's enough of a challenge that you get a sense of achievement when you get the level done and move on to the next one. And there does seem to be a lot of levels. I've gotten at least 30 or 40 levels into it. And there's still more to do. I mean, it's casual. It feels like it should be a mobile game, but it's not a mobile game. I checked, and it's only available on Steam, as far as I can tell. There's no Android version. There's no iOS version, but it has that sort of sense of feel about it, and it's cheap. I mean, for what you pay for it, especially in a bundle, it's pretty hard to go wrong. It kept me entertained for a good hour or so. I can't really complain. But there are a few things that I really don't like about this game. So it is quite repetitive. I mean, what you've seen is pretty much the entire game now. You're not going to be surprised by anything in this game after having watched me play for, what is it, a few minutes. Yeah, the puzzles don't really get much harder. Once you've got the basics down, you're not going to have too much trouble. You just sort of plod through them, and there's a little mental thought, and you're there. It's also, I mean, it's got this Puzzle Galaxies sort of theme to it, this space theme, but I don't see anything actually thematic about the game. I mean, you could just as easily make this about a bunch of goblins stealing your jewels out of chests, or computer virus deleting programs out of your computer, or something like that. Yeah, so it's not really, doesn't need to have anything spacey about it. Yeah, and it plays like, I guess the main problem is it plays like the person who wrote this game, or the people who wrote this game, they had this idea for it, and it's a decent idea, and then they finished the idea, and then they just kind of didn't, go that last little distance to put the polish into it, put the love into the game, make sure it's the best it possibly could be. very much feels like feels like they just sort of, yeah, it's good enough. That's it. We're done. And for that, for instance, there's no windowed mode. This is the sort of game I'd really like to play in windowed mode, but I can't. Doesn't allow it. It's also the sort of game that it's gonna be so annoying. Okay, so now this one's just over. Just gotta wait for these aliens to come around and drop them. Yeah, it would be nice to play it in windowed mode. And also there are occasional graphical artifacts. Oh, there we go, one. And just other things, like for instance right now I can go here and I can click this end game button and nothing happens. Why does nothing happen when I click the end game button? It looks exactly the same as it did before, but it's been deactivated. And I think that's fairly bad game design. I mean, if you're going to have a button that's unclickable, you should really make it highlight. Well, first of all, you probably shouldn't show it if it's unclickable. But if you are going to show it, make it obvious in some way. So, if I click it now, the game would end, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, that's just, they shouldn't do that. And the other thing that I don't like about this game is that it involves a lot of waiting. A lot of waiting. For a game that's quite casual, it feels like a game you want to be playing quickly. You do seem to spend a large amount of time waiting for the game to get up to the next stage. For instance, at the end of a mission, end of a level, you have to wait for the score to come out, and the score to appear. You can't skip it. I've tried space, I've tried escape, I've tried various things. I cannot see a way to skip and move on. You know you've won, but you're sat waiting for the game to acknowledge that you've won. And yeah, that can be quite annoying too. Especially because the wait can be quite long. In some missions, I swear I spent more time waiting than I did actually playing. Which doesn't really feel right, especially in a game like this, which is sort of casual and quick. You expect to move on. You want the next experience as quickly as possible, but instead you're sat waiting. And the further into the game you go, the longer you wait, which just seems insane to me. And the same with the aliens. They often at the end of the game, you'll be sitting there waiting for the aliens to return one of the gems, and you don't really want to be doing that. You want to be moving on to the next thing, but no, you're waiting. But I think I'm about to show you what happens if you don't win the game. Where are they? Yeah, yeah, so the alien ships, you have to sit and you have to wait for them to come around, especially at the end of the game. You'll just sit there, which doesn't feel good. You want, in a game like this, which is quite short, on a timer, you want it to be moving fast. Right now I've pretty much done it, but I've got to wait for these ships. But no, they don't drop them off in time. But if I was paying attention, I could probably have I get through these levels in about 60 seconds, and then I normally have to spend another 15 seconds waiting for the aliens to drop off the last few. Yeah, so overall, my review for this game is it's a bit of a it's an okay game. For the cost, it's a decent idea. With a basic implementation, there's just too much waiting and there's no real polish. So it's okay. I mean, if you get a bundle, it's worth installing and earn the Steam cards. Yeah, it's an okay game. Bye.